July 3, 1991, Broadmoor Hospital, Berkshire, England, 2:47 a.m. Dr. Maurice Lipsedge's hands trembled as he unlocked the filing cabinet in his office at Broadmoor Psychiatric Hospital. He'd been the royal family's psychiatric consultant for 23 years, but what he was about to do could destroy him or save a life. Inside the cabinet was a file marked Patient D, Royal Confidential. Diana, Princess of Wales, had been seeing him secretly for 4 months, and what he'd discovered in their sessions was so disturbing that he'd been recording everything without authorization, without the palace's knowledge, without anyone knowing. Because Diana wasn't just depressed, she wasn't just bulimic, she wasn't just crying out for help, she was being systematically driven insane. And Dr. Lipsedge had proof. He pulled out the tape recorder and pressed play on the session from 2 days ago. Diana's voice filled the dark office. "Doctor, I need you to understand something. I'm not crazy. They want me to be crazy. They're doing things, small things, calculated things to make me doubt my own mind." Dr. Lipsedge had heard many patients claim they were being gaslit, but Diana was different because she had evidence. And more terrifyingly, Dr. Lipsedge had confirmed every single thing she'd told him. What he discovered that night would expose a psychiatric manipulation operation orchestrated by the royal family, an operation designed to either institutionalize Diana permanently or drive her to suicide. But the most shocking part, this wasn't the first time they'd done it. March 15, 1991, 4 months earlier, Diana had arrived at Dr. Lipsedge's private consulting room in London at 11 p.m., wearing a wig and sunglasses, using a back entrance. Her protection officer, Ken Wharf, waited outside. "Dr. Lipsedge," Diana said, removing the disguise, "I need help, but I need you to promise me something first." "What's that, Your Royal Highness?" "Don't tell the palace I'm here. Don't tell Charles. Don't tell anyone." Dr. Lipsedge frowned. "Princess, I'm the royal family's psychiatric consultant. I'm required to report." "I know who you work for," Diana interrupted. "That's exactly why I chose you. Because if what I'm about to tell you is true, you'll be able to verify it through your palace access. And if I'm wrong, if I really am losing my mind, then you can have me committed and I'll go quietly." Dr. Lipsedge sat back in his chair. "What do you believe is happening to you?" Diana took a deep breath. "For the past 6 months, someone has been rearranging things in my apartments at Kensington Palace. Small things. A photo frame moved 2 inches. A book I left on the coffee table appearing on the shelf. Clothes in my closet switched around. That could be staff cleaning, reorganizing. That's what I thought at first. So I started marking things. A tiny pencil dot on the back of picture frames to show exact placement, thread across drawer handles. And doctor," Diana's voice dropped to a whisper, "someone is deliberately moving them, removing my marks, making me question whether I really put that frame there, whether I'm remembering correctly." Dr. Lipsedge made a note. "Classic gaslighting technique. But from whom?" "There's more," Diana continued. "I'll have conversations with Charles or palace staff, clear, specific conversations about events or plans. Then days later, they'll deny the conversation ever happened. They'll look at me with such certainty, such conviction that I start doubting myself. Did I imagine it? Did I dream it? Am I losing my memory? Do you have any evidence of these conversations?" Diana opened her purse and pulled out a small notebook. "I started keeping a diary, detailed notes of every conversation, with dates, times, witnesses present. And doctor, when I compare my notes to what people later claim was said, it's completely different." Dr. Lipsedge took the notebook. He'd seen many paranoid patients keep similar journals, but Diana's entries were precise, factual, unemotional, not the rambling conspiracies of someone truly delusional. "Princess, why would anyone want to make you doubt your sanity?" Diana looked directly at him. "Because if I'm mentally unstable, I can be discredited. Anything I say about the royal family, about Charles's affair with Camilla, about how I'm treated, about what really happens behind palace walls, can be dismissed as the ravings of a sick woman. And if I'm unstable enough, I can be institutionalized, or medicated into silence, or Diana's voice broke, or I might just kill myself to make it stop." Dr. Lipsedge felt a chill run down his spine, because he knew something Diana didn't know yet. This had happened before, to another royal woman, in 1941, March 22, 1991, 1 week later. Dr. Lipsedge spent the week researching. He had access to confidential royal family medical archives through his position. What he found horrified him. In his next session with Diana, he brought a file. "Princess, I need to tell you about your husband's great-aunt, Princess Catherine of Greece and Denmark." Diana frowned. "I've never heard of her. Very few people have. Because in 1930, when she started speaking publicly about corruption and scandals in the royal families of Europe, she was declared mentally unstable. What happened to her? She was institutionalized against her will, diagnosed with schizophrenia, though modern analysis suggests she was perfectly sane. She spent the rest of her life in psychiatric hospitals. She died in 19... Diana's face went pale. "Are you saying?" "I'm saying there's historical precedent for the royal family using psychiatric diagnosis as a weapon against inconvenient women. And princess, I found something else." Dr. Lipsedge showed her a document. This is a psychological assessment of you, commissioned by Buckingham Palace in January, 2 months before you came to see me. Diana read it, her hands shaking. HRH Princess of Wales shows increasing signs of emotional instability, paranoid tendencies, and possible delusional thinking. Recommend psychiatric evaluation and potential intervention if symptoms worsen. Subject's claims of marital problems and alleged affair by Prince Charles appear to be manifestations of paranoid jealousy rather than reality-based concerns. This is dated January 14th, Diana whispered. I hadn't told anyone about Charles and Camilla yet. This was written before I started talking about it publicly. Exactly, Dr. Lipsedge said. They were building a narrative about your mental state before you even came forward. They were preparing to discredit you. Who authorized this assessment? Dr. Lipsedge hesitated. It was commissioned by Prince Charles and signed off by Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. Diana stood up, pacing. So they're planning to have me committed, to silence me. I don't know their full plan, but Princess, I need to ask you something. Have you noticed anything else? Physical symptoms? Unexplained fatigue? Mood swings that seem disconnected from actual events? Diana stopped pacing. Yes, for the past 3 months I've had terrible insomnia, anxiety that comes out of nowhere, and she hesitated. Sometimes I feel dizzy, disoriented, like I'm drugged even though I haven't taken anything. Dr. Lipsedge's worst fear was confirmed. On April 10, 1990, Lipsedge arranged for Diana to have comprehensive blood work done at a private clinic under a false name. The results came back on April 10th. He called Diana immediately. Princess, you need to come to my office. Tonight. When Diana arrived, she could tell from his face that something was terribly wrong. Diana, your blood work shows traces of benzodiazepines, specifically lorazepam. It's an anti-anxiety medication that can cause confusion, memory problems, and disorientation. But I'm not taking any medication. I know. That's the problem. Someone is giving it to you without your knowledge. Diana felt the room spin. How? How is that possible? Have you been eating or drinking anything prepared specifically for you? Anything that only you consume? Diana thought back. My morning tea. The staff brings it to my room every morning. Charles doesn't drink tea, only coffee, so they make it just for me. Dr. Lipsedge pulled out a small container. I need you to bring me a sample of that tea. Don't drink it. Just bring it to me. You think they're drugging my tea. I think someone wants you confused, forgetful, and emotionally unstable. Benzodiazepines in small regular doses would do exactly that, and the symptoms would be attributed to your mental illness rather than external causes. Diana felt tears streaming down her face. I'm not crazy. No, Diana, you're not. You're being made to appear crazy. And we're going to prove it. But what Dr. Lipsedge didn't know yet was that the medication was just the beginning. The real operation was far more sophisticated. April 25th, 19. The tea sample. Diana brought Dr. Lipsedge her morning tea in a sealed thermos. She'd told the staff she was taking it with her for the car ride, something she'd never done before. The laboratory analysis came back 3 days later. The tea contained lorazepam, as suspected, but it also contained something else. Scopolamine. Dr. Lipsedge told Diana. It's sometimes called devil's breath. In small doses it causes suggestibility and memory impairment. People under its influence can be manipulated into believing false memories or doubting real ones. Diana felt sick. How long have they been doing this? Based on your blood work, at least 3 months. Possibly longer. Who knows about this? That's what we need to figure out. Someone in your household staff is preparing that tea, but they're taking orders from someone higher up. Diana stood up. I want to find out who. I want to catch them. Diana, that could be dangerous. If they realize you know. I don't care. I'm tired of being their victim. I'm going to fight back. What Diana didn't know was that her psychiatrist's office was bugged, and by fighting back she'd just triggered the next phase of the operation. Ronavergins versles tankelsinch tapelostos. Tapis notleplist. Porch the rawasan stidi into kol sump the kol please the go. After Diana discovered the drug tea, things got worse. Much worse. She stopped drinking the morning tea, claiming she'd switched to coffee. The staff seemed nervous but said nothing. Then new symptoms appeared. Diana started finding disturbing items in her private rooms. A dead bird on her pillow. A photograph of herself with the eyes scratched out. A note that said crazy people belong in hospitals. She showed these items to Dr. Lipsedge during their sessions. This is psychological terrorism, he said. They're trying to break you, make you doubt reality so severely that you have a breakdown. Who is they, doctor? Who's doing this? Dr. Lipsedge had been investigating. He'd used his palace access to review staff schedules, security logs, and personnel files. Your personal butler, Harold Browning, has been receiving payments from an offshore account, £5,000 per month for the past 6 months. Diana felt betrayed. Harold had worked for her for 3 years. She'd trusted him. Who's paying him? The account is registered to a trust controlled by Prince Charles's private secretary, Richard Aylard. Diana closed her eyes. Charles is behind this. Charles is involved. But Diana, I don't think he's the mastermind. The operation is too sophisticated. The psychological warfare techniques, they're military grade.
This is MI5 or MI6 level expertise. You're saying the intelligence services are helping drive me insane. I'm saying this operation bears all the hallmarks of a state-sanctioned psychological operation. The drugs, the gaslighting, the surveillance, the escalating intimidation. It's textbook. Diana realized she wasn't just fighting her husband, she was fighting the entire British establishment. May 15th, Dr. Lipsedge's office. Dr. Lipsedge had been secretly recording all his sessions with Diana, without her knowledge, without authorization. It was illegal and unethical, but he knew that without evidence, Diana's claims would be dismissed. On May 15th, he told her what he'd been doing. Diana, I need to confess something. I've been recording our sessions. Diana looked shocked, then angry. You've been recording me, without my permission. Yes, and I'm prepared to lose my medical license for it. Because Diana, these recordings are proof that you're being systematically gaslit, proof that you've been drugged, proof that you're the victim of a coordinated campaign to discredit you. Diana was silent for a long moment. What do you plan to do with these recordings? That's your decision. We can use them as insurance, keep them hidden but let certain people know they exist. Or we can go public, release them to the media, expose what's being done to you. If we go public, they'll destroy you too. They'll say you're the unstable one, that you've become obsessed with me. They'll take your license, ruin your reputation. I know. But Diana, I took an oath. First, do no harm. Right now, by staying silent, I'm allowing harm to continue.
Diana thought about her options. Going public meant risking everything, but staying silent meant letting them win. I want to hear the recordings, she said finally. All of them. What Diana heard on those tapes would give her the evidence she needed, but it would also reveal something she'd been too frightened to admit, even to herself. May 23, 1991, Kensington Palace. After listening to the recordings, Diana understood the full scope of what was happening to her, but understanding didn't make it easier to endure. The psychological pressure was crushing. Every day brought new gaslighting attempts, staff members denying conversations, items moved and rearranged, weird phone calls in the middle of the night, breathing then silence. On May 23rd, Diana had what appeared to be a complete breakdown. She was found by staff in her bathroom, having cut her arms with a razor blade. Not deeply, not a serious suicide attempt, but enough to draw blood, enough to look unstable. She was rushed to the hospital. Charles was notified immediately. At the hospital, the royal physicians recommended immediate psychiatric admission. Princess Diana is clearly in crisis, Dr. Anthony Whitehead told Charles. She needs intensive psychiatric care. We recommend admission to Broadmoor for observation and treatment. Broadmoor, the same hospital where Dr. Lipsedge worked, the same hospital where Princess Catherine had been institutionalized 60 years earlier. Charles looked relieved. Do whatever is necessary to help her. But Diana wasn't having a breakdown, she was staging one, because she and Dr. Lipsedge had devised a plan. Round one in Broadmoor Hospital. Diana was admitted to Broadmoor's private royal wing, a secure area not accessible to regular patients or staff. Only authorized personnel could enter. Dr. Lipsedge was her primary psychiatrist, which meant he had complete access to her room, her treatment plan, everything. What the palace didn't know was that Dr. Lipsedge had wired Diana's hospital room for recording. Every conversation, every visit, every treatment discussion, all captured on tape. This is dangerous, Dr. Lipsedge told Diana the night she was admitted. If they discover what we're doing, then we're both finished, Diana said. But if we succeed, we have evidence of a conspiracy to institutionalize me against my will. Over the next week, Diana played her part perfectly. She appeared depressed, confused, unstable. She cried during therapy sessions. She refused to eat. She exhibited all the behaviors expected of someone having a serious psychiatric crisis, and the palace team revealed themselves. On May 28th, Charles visited Diana at Broadmoor. He thought they were alone. He didn't know about the recording equipment. Diana, the doctors say you're very sick, paranoid, delusional. Charles, I'm not sick. You've been drugging me, gaslighting me, trying to make me appear crazy. Charles's voice was cold. Diana, those are exactly the kind of paranoid accusations that prove you need help. No one is drugging you. No one is gaslighting you. You're mentally ill. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can get treatment. You're lying. Diana, I've spoken with the doctors. They recommend long-term psychiatric care, possibly permanent institutionalization if your condition doesn't improve. Diana felt genuine fear then. You're going to lock me away. I'm going to make sure you get the help you need, even if that means you stay here for a very long time. Every word was being recorded. June 5, 1991. Broadmoor Hospital. After 2 weeks at Broadmoor, Diana requested a meeting with Charles, the Queen and Prince Philip. She claimed she wanted to accept her illness and cooperate with treatment. They came to the hospital together, confident that Diana had been broken. Dr. Lipsedge was present, along with 2 other royal physicians. Your Majesty, Your Royal Highnesses, Diana began. I want to thank you for arranging my treatment here. The Queen nodded approvingly. We only want what's best for you, Diana. I know. That's why I want to share something with all of you. Diana pressed a button on a small tape recorder she'd hidden in her cardigan pocket. Charles's voice filled the room. "I'm going to make sure you get the help you need, even if that means you stay here for a very long time." Then Richard Aylard's voice, from a conversation with Charles that had been recorded through phone surveillance. "The medication in her tea should keep her confused enough that no one will believe anything she says about you and Camilla." Then Dr. Whitehead's voice, from a conversation with palace officials. "If we diagnose her with schizophrenia, we can justify long-term institutionalization. It's the only way to ensure permanent silence." Charles stood up, his face white. "Where did you get those recordings?" "From the same surveillance equipment you used to monitor me." Diana lied smoothly. "I had experts sweep my apartments, and then I had them sweep this hospital room. You've been recording me for months, so I started recording you." Prince Philip's voice was dangerous. "Those recordings are inadmissible, illegally obtained." "Perhaps," Diana said, "but they're very compelling to journalists. If anything happens to me, if I mysteriously die, if I have an accident, if I'm institutionalized long-term, those recordings go public." The Queen's composure cracked. "Diana, you're blackmailing the royal family?" "No, Your Majesty. I'm defending myself against a conspiracy to imprison me in a mental hospital for the rest of my life." Dr. Lipsedge stepped forward. "Your Majesty, I have additional evidence. Medical records showing systematic drugging, psychiatric assessments that were written before Princess Diana exhibited any symptoms, financial records showing payments to household staff for participating in gaslighting operations." Charles turned on him. "You've been helping her. I've been doing my job, protecting my patient from abuse." The Queen stood. "What do you want, Diana?" June 5, 1991. The negotiation. Diana looked at the three most powerful people in the British monarchy. "I want my freedom. Complete freedom from surveillance, from drugging, from psychological manipulation. I want my own household staff, people I choose, not people you plant. I want the gaslighting to stop immediately." "And in exchange," the Queen asked, "I won't release the recordings. I won't tell the media what you tried to do to me. I'll continue being the perfect princess in public, but in private you leave me alone." Charles shook his head. "That's not enough. We need guarantees. The recordings are your guarantee. If I release them, the monarchy is finished. The public will learn that you tried to institutionalize me to hide your son's affair. They'll learn about the drugging, the gaslighting, everything. You'll lose more than me. You'll lose the crown." Prince Philip spoke for the first time. "You've become quite strategic, Diana." "No, Your Royal Highness. I've become quite desperate, and desperate people are dangerous." The Queen considered for a long moment. "Very well, you'll have your freedom. But Diana, understand this, we will be watching. If you step out of line, if you cause problems, if you threaten the monarchy, those recordings won't save you. And if you touch me again," Diana said quietly, "those recordings will destroy you." It was a stalemate, a cold war within the royal family. June 7, 1991. Diana's discharge. Dr. Lipsedge signed Diana's discharge papers, certifying that she was mentally stable and no longer required hospitalization. Before she left Broadmoor, he gave her a small locked box. "What is this?" "All the recordings, the originals, everything I documented over the past 4 months. You're giving them to me. They're your insurance policy, Diana. Keep them safe. And remember, the moment you no longer need them as insurance, destroy them, because if they ever fall into the wrong hands—" "I know," Diana said. "They could destroy the monarchy, or they could destroy me." Dr. Lipsedge looked at the young princess. "Diana, I need to tell you something. This won't end here. You've won this battle, but the war will continue. They'll find other ways to control you, to silence you, to discredit you. I know. Be careful. Trust no one in that family. And Diana," he hesitated, "if you ever feel unsafe, if you ever fear for your life, contact me immediately. I'll go public with everything. Consequences be damned." Diana hugged him, the first genuine human connection she'd felt in months. "Thank you for believing me, for not thinking I was crazy. You're the sanest person in that entire family, Diana. Don't ever forget that." As Diana left Broadmoor, she didn't know that she would need those recordings again, 6 years later, on the last night of her life, September 15, 1991. 3 months later, Dr. Lipsedge was called to Buckingham Palace. He knew it couldn't be good. The Queen's private secretary, Sir Robert Fellows, met him in a secure office. "Dr. Lipsedge, we need to discuss your future. I assumed my employment with the royal family was terminated. Actually, we're offering you a promotion, royal psychiatrist, with a substantial increase in compensation." Dr. Lipsedge was shocked. "You're rewarding me for helping Diana. We're ensuring your silence. You've seen things, documented things, that cannot become public, ever. In exchange for your silence, we're offering you security, money, and the knowledge that Princess Diana remains safe. And if I refuse—" Sir Fellows opened a file. Inside were photographs. Dr. Lipsedge meeting with journalists.
entering buildings housing media outlets, sitting in cafes with people identified as investigative reporters. We've been watching you, doctor. If you release any information about the princess's hospitalization, we will destroy you. Medical license revoked, criminal charges for illegal recording, civil lawsuit from the crown. You'll lose everything. Dr. Lipsedge felt trapped. So I stay silent, keep my job, and Diana stays free. Precisely. Everyone wins. Everyone stays safe. What guarantee do I have that you won't hurt Diana? You have the same guarantee she has. Mutual assured destruction. We won't touch her as long as those recordings exist, and you won't speak as long as she remains safe. It's a perfect equilibrium. Dr. Lipsedge signed the agreement. He had no choice, but he kept his own insurance policy. A complete second set of recordings, hidden where the royal family would never find them, just in case.
September 1997. The cover-up begins. When the media outlets received Diana's evidence packages, they faced enormous pressure not to publish. The British government issued D-notices, official requests to suppress information for national security reasons to UK media. The royal family's lawyers threatened massive lawsuits against any outlet that published unverified recordings. MI6 agents visited editors at major newspapers warning that publication would damage UK-US relations and compromise ongoing intelligence operations. Financial pressure was applied. Major advertisers were told to pull advertising from any outlet that published Diana's evidence. The Guardian published a small story, questions raised about Diana's death, but the recordings weren't released. The financial documents weren't detailed. The evidence was soft-pedaled and buried. The New York Times ran an editorial, Conspiracy Theories and Princess Diana. It was dismissive, suggesting grief-stricken fans were imagining conspiracies. Only Le Monde and Der Spiegel published more aggressive stories. But without the full evidence being released, without the recordings being broadcast, the stories were labeled French conspiracy theories and German tabloid speculation. Diana's deadman switch had activated, but it hadn't worked. The establishment was too powerful, the suppression too coordinated. Rosa Monckton was threatened. If you speak publicly about the recordings, we'll destroy your husband's business. Dr. Lipsedge was warned. Your medical license will be revoked if you claim those recordings are authentic. Mohammed Al-Fayed tried to go public and was immediately labeled a conspiracy theorist and grieving father grasping at straws. Diana had planned for her evidence to destroy the royal family if she died. Instead, the royal family destroyed the evidence and Diana couldn't fight back because she was dead. So, what Diana discovered in the divorce negotiations connected to her death. During the 1996 divorce negotiations, Diana had uncovered something she hadn't fully understood at the time. Operation Firewall. She knew it was an MI6 codename. She knew it involved her. But she never discovered the full operational details. Operation Firewall wasn't just about surveillance. It was a contingency plan. If Diana ever became too dangerous, if she threatened to release the recordings, if she was about to expose financial corruption, if she planned to remarry someone unacceptable to the crown, Operation Firewall would be activated. The operation was approved in principle in 19 and it was executed in Paris in August 19. The divorce settlement wasn't Diana's victory, it was a delay tactic. The royal family had agreed to her demands because they needed time to develop Operation Firewall. Time to plan an assassination so perfect, so seemingly accidental that even Diana's dead man switches wouldn't matter. Because they understood something Diana didn't. Evidence only matters if people believe it. And they controlled the narrative. When Diana died and her evidence was released, the establishment simply refused to acknowledge it. They suppressed it, discredited it, buried it under official investigations that concluded exactly what the palace wanted them to conclude. The psychiatric files from 1991 proved Diana was gaslit. The divorce negotiations from 1996 proved Diana had evidence. And the suppression after 1997 proved the establishment would destroy the truth to protect itself. September 2022, 25 years later. When Queen Elizabeth II died, something changed. The woman who had approved the 1991 psychiatric operation, who had signed Diana's divorce settlement under duress, who had known about Operation Firewall, she was finally gone. And without her to protect, the evidence Diana had gathered could finally surface. Dr. Lipsedge, now 96 years old, released the psychiatric recordings. Rosa Monckton released Diana's letters. Mohammed Al-Fayed released the financial documents. And Diana's solicitor released the secret divorce settlement. 25 years after her death, Diana's evidence finally reached the public in full. The recordings were broadcast on the BBC. The financial documents were published in The Guardian. The divorce settlement was detailed in the New York Times. And the world finally understood. Diana hadn't been paranoid in 1991. She'd been gaslit. Diana hadn't been greedy in 1996. She'd been fighting for justice. Diana hadn't been reckless in 1997. She'd been murdered. The divorce negotiations were the key to everything. They revealed the royal family's corruption, their willingness to commit crimes to protect themselves, their ruthlessness toward anyone who threatened them. Diana had fought for 18 months to get that settlement. She'd used every piece of leverage, every recorded conversation, every financial document, And she'd won. For 16 months from August 1996 to August 1997, Diana was free, protected by her dead man's switches, empowered by her evidence, living life on her own terms. But freedom didn't last, because the royal family had been planning Operation Firewall the entire time. Diana's divorce negotiations bought her 16 months of life. Her evidence bought her 25 years of posthumous justice. She lost the war while she was alive, but she won it after she was dead. That's the truth about Diana's divorce. It wasn't just about money or titles or custody. It was about survival. And even though Diana didn't survive, her strategy did. The woman who was gaslit in 1991, who negotiated her divorce in 1996, and who was murdered in 1997, she won in 20 because she'd planned for victory to take 25 years. Final truth, the woman who outplayed the crown. What Diana understood that everyone else missed. During those intense divorce negotiations in 1996, Diana wasn't just fighting for money, she was building a time bomb. Every recording she preserved, every document she copied, every witness she secured, every dead man's switch she established, they weren't designed to protect her life, they were designed to destroy her killers after her death. Diana knew by 1996 that the royal family would eventually kill her. The psychiatric operation of the surveillance operations had taught her they had unlimited resources. The divorce negotiations taught her they would never truly let her go. So she didn't fight to survive, she fought to ensure that her death would cost them everything. The divorce negotiations were Diana's last will and testament, not the legal document filed with her solicitor. The real will was the evidence she scattered across the world. The real inheritance for William and Harry wasn't money, it was truth. Every demand Diana made in those negotiations served a dual purpose, £50 million, not for luxury, for independence, so she could fund her own security, her own investigations, her own distribution network for the evidence, HRH status, not for ego, for protection. The title gave her official standing that made assassination more politically costly, financial transparency, not for revenge, for evidence. The financial documents proved systematic corruption that would destroy the crown's credibility, written apologies, not for closure, for proof, signed confessions from the Queen and Prince Philip that they'd committed crimes against her. Dead man switches, not to prevent murder. Diana knew they'd find a way anyway. The switches were to ensure her murder would be documented, preserved, and eventually avenged. Diana wasn't negotiating a divorce. She was writing her own obituary, and she made sure it would be honest. The final revelation, what William found. September 15, 2022, Windsor Castle. When Prince William discovered the documents in his grandmother's safe, he didn't just find the psychiatric files from he found the complete record of the divorce negotiations. He found his mother's strategy, laid out in her own handwriting. They will kill me eventually. I know this. I've accepted this. But I will not make it easy. And I will not let them get away with it. The divorce settlement is my weapon. Every clause, every demand, every piece of evidence I've secured. It's all designed to ensure that when they kill me, the truth survives. I'm not fighting to live. I'm fighting to make sure my death matters. William, Harry, when you read this, you'll be adults. You'll understand strategy. You'll understand sacrifice. I negotiated the divorce they wanted, but I hid weapons in every clause, and those weapons are timed to detonate long after I'm gone. The psychiatric recordings will surface, the financial corruption will be exposed, the divorce settlement will be revealed as a hostage negotiation where I held the crown at gunpoint, and when all of this comes out, the world will understand. I wasn't a victim, I was a warrior. I didn't lose, I just won slowly. I love you both, and I'm sorry I couldn't stay, but I made sure my leaving would destroy those who forced me to go. Use the evidence wisely, rebuild what they tried to destroy, and never ever let them control you the way they tried to control me. All my love forever. Mummy, April 9th. William stood in his grandmother's study, holding evidence that proved everything. His mother had known she'd be killed. His grandmother had known about the plan. His father had been complicit through weakness. His grandfather had been the architect. And his mother had spent her last 16 months of life building the weapon that would destroy them all, but only after she was gone, because Diana understood something profound. Living victims can be silenced, dead martyrs cannot.